Hello everybody and welcome to the series that I have dubbed Rapper Rankings. And in these videos, I take a look at a collection of songs, whether they be from an album or just a particular topic that I'm interested in, and I rank those songs in order of my listening preference. And in today's video, taking a look at Eminem's 2017 album, Revival. Revival was arguably Eminem's least well-received commercial project out there, and since he just dropped Curtain Call 2, I figured I would dive into all of his albums and rank them accordingly, and I'm going to start with Revival, I guess to get some of the hard ones out of the way. Now, I did already rank Curtain Call 2. You guys can check that video out up here on the screen that I just flashed for you. I've also got a whole playlist of nothing but these rapper ranking videos. I've only done 2 so far, but I have 50 plus videos in my notepads that I plan to continue on with, so you guys can check out that playlist and binge watch those like crazy. As per custom to these rapper ranking videos, I want to give a nice shout out to all of my YouTube channel memberships. You can check out these sexy people on the screen right now. They truly help me in combating the copyright claims that I get on seemingly every single video now. If you guys are interested in becoming a YouTube channel member, all you gotta do is click the little join button next to the subscribe button on my channel name. And I think right now YouTube is offering half off if it's the first time you've ever been a channel member for me. So it's a great time to try to do that. You get a cool little badge next to your name. Your comments are always prioritized. I always see them. I heart them. I reply to them. I've also got plans to do Eminem diss tracks created by Eminem for the next ranking video. I did diss tracks on Eminem for the last one. And yes, I am working on the Everything Wrong with Black Slim Shady because you guys got so many likes for my last video. But all right, all that is now out of the way. Let's dive on into this Eminem's 2017 album, Revival, ranked by the rapper Crypt, me. I said that weird. I don't know why. Revival has 17 songs on it. I think it also has 2 skits, but obviously we don't talk about skits on this. We're doing strictly songs only and not deluxe versions of the albums. We're doing bass versions of the album, so no CHLORASEPTIC 2 remix on here, even though I do like that song. Unfortunately, we're stuck with only the original CHLORASEPTIC. Now, there are a ton of songs on this that I do not care for, so a lot of these bottom tier songs are completely transferable for me, so number 12 could be number 17 on any given day, really. I made this list a couple days ago. I revisited it this morning, and I changed a couple spots, but not a whole lot. So coming in at number 17, I have Untouchable. There were a lot of songs that I could have picked for number 17 on this. I feel like there's just that many songs that I don't care for. This is a little bit of a bias because I can't stand political songs, whether they be left-leaning, right-leaning, middle of the line. I just don't like them. 99% of the time, they're completely divisive no matter what you say. Be that as it may, I cannot stand the hook on this song. White boy, you're a rock star. Nothing that we can get that you had to live. Like that dude, I just don't like this at all. Pretty much the first 3.5 to 4 minutes of this song, I just wish I didn't have to listen to. The final act of this song is awesome. Despite its political nature, the flows that you hear from Eminem on this, the intensity, the passion in his voice, the beat switch, it's the best part about this song, hands down, and I wish it was the only part about this song. But this song just does not do it for me. The rock sample just doesn't work for me on this one. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't, but this song just does not do it. Coming in at number 16, which I originally had at number 17, and it completely surprises me, I have CHLORASEPTIC. I thought this song sounded a lot better than it did when I first listened to it. I remember it being one of the standout songs for me on this album the first time I listened to Revival. But listening back to it, Eminem's inflection that he puts on his voice in this one hurts me so much. I don't know what he did to his voice on this song, but he does it to his voice on a lot of songs, just not as harsh as he does on this one. But it's the main reason that I don't like Revival. It sounds like he's rapping all the way in the back of his throat while an elephant is sitting on top of him while he's completely congested. I just don't know how to describe it, but I cannot stand it. A lot of the bars on this song are awesome, but some of the flows that he has is so choppy. It reminds me of a big, beautiful house on the outside, but when you walk inside, there's just like 30 small cut-up rooms, and it just kind of completely destroys the idea of the mansion. It's making a mansion feel like a cottage, and I kind of feel like that's what's happening right here. I like the beat to it. I like the hook to it. Some of these modern style, like mumble rap flows that he's trying, like a da-da-da-da-da. It just doesn't sound natural for me with Eminem. That's just not what I think about when I hear Eminem rapping on a song. Also, another issue that I have on a lot of songs on this album, which coincidentally happens in this song as well, is this echoey reverb sound on his rap verses. It almost sounds like he's rapping in a big open room with hardly any kind of sound treatment, like some half-ass sound treatment, maybe even like a hotel recording, and I just don't completely understand the creative decision behind this because it just does not sound appealing to me, especially in headphones. I can kind of get away with it when I listen to it over speakers, but when you put some earbuds in or some headphones in and really listen to the production behind it, it just hurts. But enough of me shitting on CHLORASEPTIC. Like I said, there's so many great punchlines in this song, some cool flows, but so many bad redeeming qualities of the song that just can't bring it back from the dead for me to listen to. At number 15, I have Remind Me. And I'm so back and forth on this song. This is one that could be number 10 one day, number 15 the next day, number 17 the next day. It really just kind of depends. I like the idea of the I Love Rock and Roll sample that he has in this, and the hook to me is actually halfway catchy, but that booty is heavy duty like diarrhea. There's just a ton of bars like that in this song that I do not like from Eminem. And I don't know, something about rapping on the I Love Rock and Roll instrumental I'm just uncomfortable when I listen to the song. He has a handful of rock samples that he does throughout this album that I feel like works on some occasions, but to me, this just doesn't feel like it's working. Coming in at number 14, I have Heat. And I think a lot of people were saying this was the worst song from the album. It's definitely in contention, I feel like, but I will tell you, I bet this song has more one-liners and punchlines and double entendres than any song on the album. There's actually some really dope schemes, like I got a meter like a taxi, love affair in the backseat, affair, taxi, cab. Like there's a lot of cool little schemes thrown into this song. But I feel like this is another case of M rapping on an old classic rock song beat and using part of their hook, and it just doesn't quite mesh well together. I don't hate the song nearly as much as everybody else seems to hate this song, but I definitely don't love it. I don't sit there and play it over and over again. I kind of forgot the song existed from this album. Coming in at number 13, we're starting to get into more of the listenable songs for me. We have Need Me featuring Pink. There's not really anything that I don't like about this song. It's just very forgettable for me for some reason. I love Pink, and I like when Eminem and Pink work together. They've got a handful of songs together that sound very, very good. But this kind of feels more like a Pink song with an Eminem feature tossed on an Eminem album. I believe Pink takes up 3/4 of the song. She has a pretty long verse. The hook is long in itself. But aside from that, when you finally get to Eminem's verse, I think it's pretty solid. There's some very raw, in-depth emotion coming from Eminem on this, and there's even some punchlines diced in there here and there. I actually kind of enjoyed the song. It just kind of dragged on a little bit for me, and again, it didn't feel like an Eminem song. So that's kind of why I have it where it's at. At number 12, I have one that surprised me a lot, is Offended. I think I've rapped this song more than any song from this album because of the last verse that's very fast. And that, to me, is one of the only good things about this song is the latter half of this song. This is another one of those songs that has that echoey, poor sound treatment, sound quality to the verse again. The nursery rhyme sounding hook, I just don't like at all, I feel like. But I love the last 2 minutes of the song. You give me the last 2 minutes of the song without the hook, and it's another one of those like Rabbit Run or Despicable rap style only tracks that sounds awesome. But the first half, you know, the inflection's back, and it's just, it kills me. And honestly, when going back to rank this album, I noticed that with a lot of the songs that I really enjoy the latter half of them, and the first half just kind of loses me. And I feel like that's where a lot of people are with this. And by that, I feel like a lot of people hear the first parts of these songs, which I think are their downsides, and they click off of it and don't give the album a chance. When in reality, the better parts of this album all happen in the latter halves of these songs. Coming in at number 11, another one that I feel like people aren't going to be too happy about, I have Believe. Now hear me out, okay? I do really enjoy this song. The verses are some of the best on the entire album, but the first part of the hook, the Believe, like he gets so Kermit Froggy and like deep inside of his throat that he doesn't need to be when he starts to sing that hook. And I like the hook. I really enjoy the hook. I remember it from this album, but I also remember the frogginess, the Patrick Mahomes sounding voice that happens right there. But again, the final verse of this song is the shining star for me. And the line, if time was on my side, I'd still have none to waste, really sticks out with me throughout this entire project. But the first half, some of the flows, again, remind me of turning a mansion into a cottage, just super choppy flows that I just don't care for on this song. And I feel like if it was cleaned up just a little bit, if he didn't do that such a harsh sound on the word believe, that it would definitely be a top 5 song for me. At number 10, I thought for sure this was gonna be one of my least favorite songs on this project. We have Framed. This song has a cult following, okay? I've seen a lot of people say that this is their favorite song from Revival, but it's definitely a wacky sounding song. The Framed, like that just, you know, it sticks in your head. It's wacky. It's not supposed to be taken serious. I really enjoyed the music video because I'm a murder mystery nerd, and then the whole music video is just a murder mystery thing. The song itself is about being framed for murdering someone, even though that he did murder someone, but he doesn't think that people know that he thinks he murdered someone. It's crazy. This has the opposite effect of most of the songs on this album, meaning that the first verse is the shining moment. I believe the entire thing rhymed and it has some of the most unique flows that I've ever heard Eminem use. But the last verse has that inflection that I hate. But fuck me if that innuendo bar at the end isn't one of the best punchlines Eminem has ever created. I remember hating the hook so much more when I first listened to this album. Still don't like it, but it's, you know, it's memorable, and I kind of have grown to understand that this song is not meant to be taken very serious. So with that, it'll crack the top 10. Coming in at number 10. Dropping in at number 9, I have Bad Husband. The last verse on this song is incredible, and I love the raw emotion behind it, speaking directly to Kim and, you know, reminiscing back on their love affair days. To me, it's just another raw and emotionally filled song. There's not a whole lot of inflection on this, not a whole lot of the choppiness that I don't like, and I've always enjoyed these self-reflective type songs from Eminem. And I also really enjoyed that he's kind of owning up to what pretty much everybody has always said about him, that he's a great father, he's a good dad, but he is a piece of shit, shitty fucking husband. He's owning it, and I can appreciate that very much. The hook on this sounds pretty good as well. I think this is one of the more mainstream sounding songs on this album, and might even be one of the most streamed songs, I think. But overall, I think it's definitely a pretty solid song. Nothing on the song that I can really say that I hate that I can think of. I don't see myself playing it over and over again, but I definitely can tolerate it, I feel like. At number 8, I have Tragic Endings. I believe this has Skylar Grey on it. Another one of the installments of the Eminem-Skylar Grey collaboration that they've had. I feel like they've had 20 at this point. Skylar never really disappoints me on these hooks. She always sounds great. They're always meaningful sounding hooks. They're always memorable sounding. But the issue that I have with this one is the mix. It sounds completely different than every other song on this album. It almost sounds like a mix from a recovery song, like it's a leftover from the recovery album. I don't really know how to explain it because I listen for how songs are mixed and mastered on these albums, and M has a distinct sound for every single album. And like I said, this just does not fit with the sound of the rest of the songs, which I'm okay with because I don't like the sound that he went for on this album with the weird inflections and the echoey reverbs and all that other stuff. But yeah, it's a good sounding song. I don't remember anything bad about it. I didn't write too much about it in my notes, so when I did like a full in-depth listen to the song, there wasn't anything that really stuck out for me, bad or good. Dropping in at number 7, one that definitely surprised me because of how much I hate political songs, we have Like Home with Alicia Keys. I stated at the beginning of this, I hate political songs despite your viewpoint, despite being left-wing, right-wing, down the middle, all of it, because of how divisive they can be. But this one actually sounds like it's trying to bring people together. You know, Eminem saying stand up in between Alicia Keys singing the risers in the hook sounds very positive and motivational. Now this essentially is the Donald Trump diss track is what I call it whenever I'm reviewing this. Whether you agree or disagree with the whole message behind this song, it's undeniable that M is super passionate about this and he's finally rapping with some passion, and that's what I want. I don't care if he's dissing me or my mother, as long as he's rapping with passion, that is the best Eminem in my eyes. And this song has some of the most passion that I've heard from him in a long time. But Eminem is no stranger to these political songs. He got Mosh, White America, half the songs on this album. But I think this is probably one of his better done political sounding songs. Also, it's Alicia freaking Keys, okay? She's amazing at everything she does. Coming in at number 6, we have Nowhere Fast. And Eminem actually included this on his Curtain Call 2 Greatest Hits album, so he definitely has an affinity towards this song. I completely disagree with that, obviously, because I don't think it's even in the top 5 of this album. But regardless, I really like the second verse on this song. I think I've said that 100 times already this video. I'm not the biggest fan of the instrumental. The violins sometimes just sound kind of cheesy to me. And the passion's back, baby, right there on that second verse. That passion's there, and that's what I'm looking for. And I think it sounds pretty solid. This seems like a love it or hate it song for most people. Some people think it's the worst song on the album. Some people think it's the best. For me, I think I'm gonna drop it in at number 6. Now coming into the top 5, these 5 songs I think are all very solid songs from Eminem. And at number 5, we have In Your Head. I think everybody loves the zombie song, and I think Eminem definitely did some good justice to this sample flip. I don't even know if I would call it a sample flip because he used the hook, but regardless, this is the instance of Eminem using the rock songs in his songs, singing with the hook, all that other stuff. That sounds very good. This is another one of Eminem's self-reflective songs that I said earlier that I can truly appreciate, and I think that it is one of the better songs on the album. It just sucks that it comes so late in the album after listening to a ton of 5.5-minute songs, of remixes of I Love Rock and Roll and Heat and stuff like that. This is a long album and you're almost completely exhausted by the time you finally get to a great song like this and some of the other ones above it. At number 4, we have River with Ed Sheeran. Eminem does this weird inflection on this song which ruins it for me. It completely ruins it for me, but not enough to keep it out of the top 5 because in essence, it's a very good song. Ed Sheeran does a phenomenal job with the hook. The instrumental on this sounds amazing as well. That second verse and towards the end of the song has more assertiveness from Eminem and less of that weird inflection. Some awesome storytelling, especially after the last line comes in and you realize what the song is about and what's happening in the song. And I definitely feel like the song is more back-end heavy because of the realization that finally happens at the end of the song, the passion that happens in the second verse, no more inflection, no more of that weird sounding spatial audio recording. And I think it's the most streamed song on this album if I'm not mistaken, but rightfully so. Ed Sheeran did a fucking great job. Coming in at number 3, unpopular opinion alert, we have Walk on Water. Maybe it's not an unpopular opinion now, but this had the craziest stigma forever of being one of Eminem's worst songs, and I just don't get it. I never understood it. I definitely don't understand it now after listening to it time and time again. This is one of Eminem's best self-aware and self-reflective songs. Dude is straight rapping from an open hole in his chest the entire song. Beyonce sounds incredible on the hook. The music video does a lot for it as well. There's none of that weird inflection. Well, there's a little bit, but not a whole lot of that weird inflection that you hear throughout the rest of the album. And for me, I can truly hear the sincerity and the anguish in Eminem's voice right from the jump. And I think because I'm a rapper myself, I can truly understand battling some of the stuff that he's battling because the expectations are so freaking high. He's Eminem. Like, he's got to continuously try to top what he just did, and what he just did is the best that some people have ever done. So he's got a lot of competition that he's trying to battle against himself, and I just really love that style of the song. And coming in at number 2, this one and number 1 flip-flop for me all the time, but we're gonna go with AROSE. Every time this song starts, I think of Napoleon Dynamite for some reason. It's because of the Love is a River sample in the background, but this song just hits so freaking hard, especially when it works in tandem with Castle. But a lot of the sound effects used in this, like the heartbeat machine, the oxygen machine beating, really kind of puts you in a great visual mind state to listen to this song. Hearing Eminem talking about dying and like watching himself dying and knowing that he's not going to be there for his daughter's birthday, and you can hear it again in his voice how upset he is throughout this entire song. But I think I just love the fact that Eminem is realizing he's dying in this entire song, and he's only focusing on what it's going to do to everybody else when he's gone. Like, he's not worried about him dying. He's worried about his daughters growing up without a dad, and it's very heart-grabbing. And the twist at the end, reverting back to Castle and changing the whole storyline, money. Love it. And obviously that puts us at number 1 with Castle, which I think is one of the best hooks on this album, but it's some of Eminem's best flows. This is prime, amazing sounding Eminem that I love so much. It just sounds so effortless, and I think it's because it's more of an emotional type of song, and it's really easy for Eminem to just get on there and rap about emotion, not worry about too many punchlines, not worry about these different kind of pauses and choppiness that he's worried about in some of these other songs. But this is some more elite level storytelling from Eminem. The crumpled up sound effects in between each hook, just like AROSE using the sound effects to kind of put you in a visual imagery state to listen to this song. It's just really a great song. I mean, the last 2 songs on this album with AROSE and Castle are so underrated, I feel like, and not enough people know about them because they're at the end of the album, and a lot of people couldn't make it to the end of this album. So if you've never heard those 2 songs specifically, I recommend them highly. Listen to Castle first, then AROSE. You're gonna love those 2 songs. So with that being said, please drop your rankings down below in the comments. That is my favorite part about this, is seeing how close your rankings are to mine, because we're different people. We see music from a different perspective, and I love that. Again, shout out to all my YouTube channel memberships on the screen right now. Also, if you guys want to support me even further, I do have a merch line right here. This is one of my favorite shirts I've ever made. It's called I'm Not Okay. The knot is almost completely blacked out. You got to get really close to see it. Very metaphorical shirt, and it represents my song I'm Not Okay. I've got all kinds of sizes still left in this, so please grab one of those if you want to on my website, and stream my music if you want to as well. It's completely copyright free. You don't have to worry about getting demonetized or striked or anything on my behalf. And please comment some more ranking videos that you guys want to see. I'm off to go work on everything wrong with Black Slim Shady because that's going to take me a few days. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Here I go, 'cause it's all I know, and there's comfort in being my heart.